Good morning. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Alpaca Day. Is it, I mean, does Luca get that much cred? I don't know. Maybe. But anyway, hi. I'm your host, Anne. Welcome to Reaper Pro Tips. And I, along with my esteemed team, including Disembodied Hands Quindy, Disembodied Beard John, and Ethereal Justin, and sometimes my really obnoxious dog Kiki, will... Oh, no, I left the door open. I was like, wait, did I close the door? We'll, I don't know, elucidate, we'll illuminate the mysteries of mini painting. How about that? Oh, yeah, cold brew is easy. It just takes, you have to have a brain cell at the end of the day to set it up overnight, right? That's always where I would fail. It's gonna be hot today. I'm gonna have to close up the house. I probably should now, but... You're ready to be illuminated. Yeah, sorry for the delay, guys. I was making my Patreon post about the book being out, and I totally lost track of time. I'm like, I have 15 minutes. I can do this. Then I sit there and actually start writing the post, and the next thing I look at the clock, it's like, yeah. I use your, yep. Yeah, French press. Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. The French press is even easier, right? If you just want one cup. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I have an actual cold brewer, but I use it for tea more often than I use it for coffee. Although I haven't used it this summer for tea, because I cut down on caffeine so much, but I have some good green and herbals, so I really should get up a batch of tea. That describes your entire day. Yeah, well, you get it, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to, write this, and I should have written the post yesterday, but yesterday was just full. Oh my gosh, yesterday was so full. But the last 2 days, guys, oh my god. So much. Yay, Turgeon, thank you! Yay, round of applause for Turgeon with the Amazon review! Richard should have done his too. I think he was talking about doing it. But yeah, so happy. But it would be good because he's in the UK store, and you guys, you're in the US. So, important to have at least a review on both. And then, then I'll start, after ReaperCon, I'll start pestering people for reviews more. Not really pestering. We have the same goal as we had with the first book. We want to get to 10 reviews on book 2. I have some hopes. I'm trepidatious, but tomorrow my promo hits on book 1 because the book 1 is currently only 99 cents. So I've got a couple of promo sites that I engaged on that. And we'll see. We'll see how it does. Hi there, Keeks. Are you ready to say hi to people? Hold on. Wait. Let's resploosh. Go ahead, guys. You can get up. Yeah, you're a good girl. She's reluctant because it wobbled when she stepped on it. Do I need to tighten the bolts, Keeker? Do I need to tighten the bolts? Or are you so silly? You're so silly. She's like, I'm not quite present, Kiki. Yeah, is it too rickety? Okay, my chair is too rickety, guys. Actually, it's David's chair. I blame David. Kiki, come here. You can come up. Okay, now I have a giant dog on me. Anyway, my giant dog and I would like to say, hi, everybody. We'll paint. Yeah, I think we're going to paint. Are we going to paint Kiki? No, we're not going to nom on the Fitbit. I want to nom on the Fitbit, she says. I want to nom on it. Oh, I want to lick Mom's face. All right, demon puppy. Oh, she's like, oh, but I'm not. I'm perfect. See, look. I'm perfect. I'm a perfect demon puppy. Hi, Kiki. Oh, yes. Good girl. Okay, off. No. Thank you. No. Nibbles. No nibbles. Out. Damn spot. Come on. Oh, no. You gotta go. You want to stay here? All right. You just stay here then. But none of this. Nope. Go settle. She's a monster. Hold on. There we go. Now we're back to where we should be. Next on this episode of Monster Dogs. Let's use the voice. I could be a voice actor. I don't think I'd want to. So we did our last set of deadlifts at CrossFit last night, and I deadlifted more than a Kiki, which was my goal. Because then if something happens and I have to lift up the Kiki, I can lift up the Kiki. Of course, the problem is that Kiki is never a deadlift. Kiki is a giant wiggly lift, which makes everything much harder. But I deadlifted 85 pounds last night, guys. It was a lot. It was a lot. It felt like a lot. That morning, when that moment when you pick up a big weight and you kind of go into tunnel vision. Because it's really, really heavy and you have to concentrate. Although the scary thing is, Zachary, apparently that's just barely higher than, like, beginner for women's deadlift. I think I saved that. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the chart. Okay, so are you ready to be frightened, everybody? With how out of shape we all are, including me. Okay, so women's deadlift, you look up your body weight. Oh gosh, I'm not even there. I'm not even at beginner. Because if I look up my body weight, I should be able to deadlift 108. That's pretty scary. And that's with beginner. So if I go to novice, I should be able to deadlift 158. Intermediate is 221 pounds. Advanced is 294. Can you imagine? Can you imagine deadlifting 300 pounds almost? And that's not even the top. Apparently, the elite of female bodybuilders can deadlift. Are you ready? At my weight, which is 180 right now, can deadlift 373 pounds. That's the target. Is that insane? Like, that just seems so insane. You could deadlift 140 in high school, yeah. You were probably a lot thinner than I am right now. But 373 pounds, like, I can't even. PT appointment for your toddler. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to just trick him into it, right, Agent Marvel? What's that in D&D stats? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure if D&D stats, because it's different, right? Like your strength stat, I mean, is somewhat deadlifty, but it probably, when it's your load capacity, it's a little different. And when when it has to do with swinging a weapon, that would be more like when you're doing a press or something, like the power you have behind it. I don't know. No, 100, 150, 160 in high school. Yeah. So yeah, I was I was 140 my freshman year, and I was 160 at the end of the year, or end of the high school period. Then I put another 20 pounds in college. So right now I'm at my freshman in college weight. But yeah, I'm glad that your toddler appointment went well. That's good. I know it's easy to worry as a parent, because I mean it's easy to worry as a puppy parent. So you should bring your bully stick in, Papa. But yeah, I wonder what it would be in D. I don't remember what the D&D stat range is. That's funny. I should figure it out. I always figured that I was about a 13 strength. Like I think maybe earlier on in life more like 11 or 12, but now I think I'm like, and during the paint department period would probably have been a 13, because I was lifting a lot, but I wasn't lifting very well. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of why, that kind of thing, like dragging bags of salt and stuff, like that's why CrossFit exists. Like, obviously when you look at it at the competitive elite level, it's a sport at that point. But CrossFit, this is why I signed up with this particular trainer, is like CrossFit, he is all about, CrossFit is so that you can do the things you need to do as you get older in regular life without having to worry or about injury or break a sweat, or, without it being hard, without having to struggle. So all of the exercise stuff that he has us do is all about functionality, which I really love. Like, I feel like that, if CrossFit gyms like had pushed that instead of like pushing all this like high-end CrossFit games, like crazy elite weightlifting, extreme cardio stuff, like I feel so many more people would get into CrossFit. Like if they had that kind of attitude, it's like it's all about functionality, especially as you get older, so that you can do the things you need to do without fear, right? I'm so into that. I'm like, oh, this is great. He's just a great teacher. Oh, good. Oh, that's great, Agent Marvel. You got really good experience then. That's so great. That's really good. Well, excellent. I'm sure that you'll be cursing the fact that your toddler is more mobile in no time. Are you sure you wanted to fix that? That's all right, Kerniko. Like, you know what? You shouldn't feel inferior. Like, it's just because, you know what? You're striving to get back, right? You're striving to get fit again and to be able to regain what you've lost as much as you can. And that's so respectable. That's like just so to be lauded, essentially. It's just like you have such a great attitude. Like, I cannot say I love you so much for your attitude, Kerniko. I love you so much. Never change. Follow up with earlier questions on paint recovery. Yeah, go ahead, Sagebrush. Rocket. We haven't even started yet because I'm like totally like my brain is out in left field. My brain is out in left field totally. I'm gonna mix up some gold because I knew gold in my sleep. Gold in my sleep. Yeah. I'm gonna do rich leather and candlelight. Right, exactly, Turgeon. No, yeah, if you have the right trainer, and I really found the right one, I think it's like, because he's honest, he's like, you guys are never going to do CrossFit Games, nor should you really try to do CrossFit Games. It's like, he's just like, that's not your goal. Your goal is to be able to do all the things you need to do in regular life, and do them easily, and into your older age, so that you have a good quality of life, like, right up, as long as you can, right? Which, Tim's got a great attitude. I actually talked to him a bit more. He's not usually my coach. It's usually Andrew and Allie, the husband and wife team, who coach my class, but I have been doing Saturdays to make up. So I actually got a class with Tim on Saturday, and we hung around a bit after, because he hadn't really talked to me, and I hadn't really talked to him, so yeah, he's just got a great attitude. Oh, and what's funny is I asked him why he became a coach, and he's like, well, a long time ago I did this thing, maybe it's called Strengths Finder, Clifton Strengths. I'm like, oh my god. So it was so funny, because essentially he's really high in communication, and he loves the gym, he loves lifting weights, and so you take a love of fitness and a high communication skill, and you essentially get a great coach. So it's like, it's really funny. Since I've been talking about the Clifton Strengths so much, it's just like, Oh, wow, it's the 36th month anniversary for Roger. All right, here we go. Everybody ready? Yeah. Triple sub-anniversary, triple sub-anniversary, triple sub-anniversary. Happy triple sub-anniversary. Kiki! You even got a Kiki, Roger. You even got a Kiki. Summon Hellhound level 2. Okay, Hellhound, go. Good girl. Nope. No teeth. Sub-anniversary song does not mean teeth. Go. Get your chew. That's a reason I have the door closed when I do those. Oh. And don't get me wrong, Tim does have everybody climb the wall. Like, we do have a giant CrossFit wall, but he keeps it outside. Yeah, no teeths. No play. Nope. Mama work. Work, go settle. Kiki, no, she's just throwing her toy at me now. All right, out. Exiled. Exiled. Yes, exiled. Oh, get it, come on. Good girl, yeah, yay, woohoo! All right, Keekster, sorry. I had to actually keep her out. I played with her just for a second, but now she's out. Yes, a small Scottish cat got very excited. So you got both small Scottish cat and a Kiki, Roger. Quinty. Yeah, that's the problem with Keeks, is that when I get like really, even if I'm talking to David and I get really excited, she'll just be like, Mom's excited. She just feeds off your energy. Yep. Oh yeah, you definitely want to like take a look at it. Like if it's a decent bottle, great, and then the thinner sludge just needs more water. It just means it evaporated more. And you do still want to use the agitator because that's what essentially gets everything nicely in solution again and gives you a good texture. If you don't have that agitator, you could get clumps more, for example. Well, I mean, then just go a little bit, like, honestly, if you get it a little thin, you thin your paint anyway, right? So, but I mean, if you're scared of getting it too thin, then just do 10 drops at a time. 10 drops in a half-ounce bottle is like maybe it's 1/40th of the volume? I don't remember. But don't overthink it. I mean, just do it. I mean, just do it in smaller increments. You'll get a feel for it. I mean, if you stick, like I said before, because Sagebrush, I did mention also, like, if the bottle has a nipple, like, pop that out. Take the butt end of a brush or a stir stick and stir it around manually, especially if you've got a lot of sludge near the bottom, because no matter how many agitators you put in there, it's still not necessarily going to get up everything if it's really stuck to the bottom, so definitely use a stir stick. And if you use a stir stick, you're going to be able to see the viscosity when you take the stick out. And that'll give you an idea, like, once you've done a couple of them, you're going to be like, oh yeah, this one's about the same viscosity as the last one, I should put 20 drops in. And then, oh, this one's thinner, but it's still not the best, I'll put 10 drops in. You know, just use your gut. Yeah, yeah. I mean, stir stick... Yeah, I like to use a stir stick even if the paint, like, isn't terrible bad, just because, like I said, it settles out, and it settles out stronger on the bottom, and sometimes the agitator is not going to get up all that stuff on the bottom. So, it can help to just get it in solution enough that the agitators can do a better job. Just saying. Alright, so I've got that. Now I'm going to get my rich leather plus... my candlelight yellow is just, like, not having a happy... Yeah, no problem. You know I'm here to answer questions. That's our real purpose here, is to answer questions and talk about random crap. And we paid some stuff. Kinda, sorta, mostly. So everybody on my Patreon, you'll get a Anne's talking about her book post, but it's pretty brief. I know you all know already, but... I realized I have a lot of people who kind of joined on as free members who probably don't have any idea that I wrote a book. So I was like, oh, I should post this to my Patreon. Go figure. Let's see. And then I want to do more yellow plus a drop of white. But I probably don't need the white because I'm using candlelight today instead of lantern. So let's get this palette down into the frame. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. I'm busting my butt today. Today is the day to buckle down on my paint-alongs and see how far I can get. We are fast approaching the time when I must leave. And once I'm gone, it's 12 days, so I'm going to have to... I'll put up a post pretty much, probably from the road, in a hotel one night. I'll put up a post and tell people, hey, I'm on the road. I'm going to be on the road. I will not be posting anything until I get back, which is going to be after, after the 8th. And then, of course, I've got a bunch of medical stuff hitting, but I'll try to work through that. Though I'd be maybe too grumpy on pre-colonoscopy day. Alright. We've got a couple. I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, and you probably have everything you need there, Twisted Oma. Like, you probably don't even need to take more classes if you've taken a lot of them. There's something to attach to your electric drill. Yeah, just be careful. Because the thing is, the motion, and this is why I don't like a lot of paint shakers, hobby paint shakers. The motion you want isn't this... and it isn't this. It's up, right? Like, you don't want this, and you don't want this. You actually want this. And that's what most shakers won't do. So putting it on a drill, not really optimal. It's like you're putting it on a centrifuge of sorts. Better than nothing, maybe. But nobody has really made a great... I think, what, isn't there the Vortex that's considered to be the best? But even then, I'm not sure how effective those are. Maybe they're fine. But if somebody had made one that was brilliant, we would all know about it, you know? But if you've got, like that said, if you've got wrist or hand pain or whatever and you can't do this every day, yeah, then anything is better than nothing. Alright, let's make our highlight color. Just be careful when you're adapting equipment to a use that's not intended for, because obviously things can go wrong. Put this color away. Boop. 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 There. Risky hand motions. Oh, Quindy. It's alpaca day. It's alpaca day. We need a song. We need a song. A Luca song. Luca intro theme song. Well, that's exactly what we use at Reaper, Twisted Noma, the industrial paint shaker. But there's no good way to put small bottles in that. Trust me, people have tried it, and they've blown up the bottles inside of that shaker. Because the velocity is too hard, is too high. But we need like a little tiny version of that. Like we need a little tiny version of the industrial paint shaker that will clamp down on your bottle and shake it just like that. Because that's what you need. But, you know, there's probably not enough money in it for anybody to have created that yet. So I'm trying to decide what I'm thinking I'm going to take the most abbreviated paint kit ever to ReaperCon. I probably will just grab my Chimera stuff plus like the Reapers that are absolutely, you know, necessary because Chimera doesn't have a color for it, or pure white. And then I'm just going to, if I run into something at the con that I need, I'll just buy it. But I mean, I'm planning to buy some paint anyway. It does not work, Pendrake. We've already done it. We tested this. I mean, the problem is there's too much torque in that big mixer. There's too much. And if you don't have those bottles, maybe if you packed them in so that they were really, really stable, maybe. But you can't have any leeway whatsoever, because if you get even a little bit of impact, you get paint explosion. Bottle rupture, paint explosion. And it would be so much like time, effort, and figuring out how you're going to do it. It just wouldn't be worth owning one, really. Those machines are not cheap. I speak as having worked with them for years. But yeah, we've tried that. We've tried a quart. You can't have any leeway whatsoever inside. You have to have a perfect fit for all those. You'd have to like create a frame for it, and then think about how much money this would cost, and people would never buy it just for their paints, their mini paints. That's why I say we really need this. Oh, the noise. Couldn't you put it outside, like in your greenhouse, Kerniko? That way the kitties wouldn't have the alarmies. Okay, and now I need brown liner, because I do need a dark for NMM. You always need a dark for NMM. This is the big mistake many newbies make when they do NMM, is they forget that they need really dark shadow. They don't understand that without that shadow, it won't look shiny. Though I suppose your weather is awful. I didn't actually think of that. Oops. Well, guess what? Now, if you get another one, you'll know. But, I mean, you do have atrocious weather, so if it was because you just don't want to go outside to mix up your paint, I totally get it. I think Kiki's almost done with her shedding. I hope. I brushed her last night. She still has... There are certain parts that are still shedding immensely, but I think by Saturday, when we give her a bath, she should be pretty good. I hope so, because, oh my gosh, I'm so sick of having fur floating through the air in this house. Yeah, it probably would be very damp, yeah. You'd want to put a protective cloth over it to... some sort of cover to help it. Oh well, it is what it is. Alright, we're going to start blocking in some highlights. I'm going to get in focus. Here are our colors for the day. There. Pop that back up. Alright, so we've got a shadow here where the arm crosses over. So we've got to remember that. But we can highlight on the outside of it. Let's see if I've thinned my paint too much. Now, one of the things here also is I really need to make sure that I've lined inside of here, because the cream is very similar to the gold, especially once I highlight it. Yeah. Yeah, it had an issue. It had an issue. Are there any minis or busts? Whoa, didn't see it. I didn't see that question. Neuro. Exclusive to the con, and how much do you need to pay? Oh, well, I know that you could have bought the extra large Sophie online. You might, but you would have to get somebody to pick it up at the con. And I know that there was supposed to be an Ed tribute figure, and they're not sure what they're going to do with that. But I want to get some lining in here if I can around these little tiny cutouts, because if I've got that line there, then I can do the gold denim and it'll be okay. But yeah, I mean, probably the coolest one is the big version of the mascot Sophie for this year, the Druid Sophie Neuro. But you've got to have somebody at the con pick that up for you. Although if you buy a swag box, I think it does come in one of the swag boxes. Am I right on that? Oh, that pre-sale ended weeks ago. Okay. Neuro waited too long. You waited too long, Neuro. You were distracticated too long. Regular size in the swag bag. The big one was... Yeah, right, because they had to print them all, right? All the big ones well in advance. Yeah. I mean, Reaper usually doesn't do a con mini that doesn't get put up in regular release sometime, but the Big Sophie is that exception. And then, like I said, I don't think we know about the Ed mini, what the intentions are for it after the con. Yeah, most of it does go to retail. I mean, so I just lined around all those little cutouts here on the top collar, and that's going to help a lot with keeping my gold separate from my cream. Aw, that's awesome, Kerniko. Yay, I'm glad. I look forward to seeing your take on it. But yeah, considering all the dog stuff I have to pack, I'm like, to go to ReaperCon, and then there's some book stuff, but it's like, I don't, like, my paint stuff I'm packing is going to be pretty minimal. Gonna just get my highlights in here a little bit. And then I want to figure out where my shadow will be. It's probably going to come out and start there. Because wherever the wherever the cloth is still facing upward, you're still going to have light. But the minute it does this, right there, that's where your shadow goes. Yeah, I don't know either. Reaper probably doesn't know. Like, if Reaper hasn't said, then Reaper hasn't really thought about it, and they'll probably see how much demand there is and make an assessment. Although, and some of you will love this, and some of you will facepalm. But when I told David that there's an Ed an Ed tribute mini, he's like, "But is it skeleton Ed, sculpted in Ed's signature skeleton style?" He's like, "That ought to be the Ed tribute mini." I died because why didn't we think of that? Oh, okay. Okay. Good, yeah, I'll pick up the Sidecast. But because of the Ed skeletons, I just thought that was actually pretty funny. Yeah, metal one from Dark Sword. Yep. Yep, because Jim is cool. And Jim likes metal. I haven't seen either model, so I do not know what they look like. So if we do have an Arachno Ed or a Skeleton Ed, I think that satisfies the requirements. Arachno Assassin, great! Oh, okay, that's good. That's Ed. Ed is a necromancer. Okay, that's great. Lovely. Really does feel like an Ed. All right, cool. Well, because we're gonna paint one of those online, so I'll do the Reaper one, Sidecast one. So what I'm planning to get from the con is I'm planning to get the con paint colors so that I can do some stuff on those for my Patreon, and I'm getting the Big Sophie, so we'll do that on stream. That's my plan. And then we will do an Ed tribute on stream. That is my plan. Other than that, I'll just see what other minis like tickle my fancy that I might pick up. We've got light and dark. Wizard Head summoning the Arachno. That's right. Double Ed. Man, guys, it's just not fair that we lost Ed. Like, this is the first time, like, despite all that has happened to me and people I know, the first time I've really, like, felt it where I'm just like, dang it. Just not fair. Life, why did you do this, Life? Seriously, universe. That and Kathy. But it's just, I don't know. There's just too much sad. Too much sad, dang it. But at least we have Ed Arachno Assassin. I'm sure that Ed would love that. Like, if he's watching us from up. I'm sure that he talked his way and charmed his way into heaven, so. Like, I can see, like the angel at the gate, like, kind of going, "You made a miniatures company called what?" And Ed's like, "But here, have a mini, have some paints here. Let's just talk about the hobby." Did you know I used to drum? And the angel would be like, "Oh, that's okay then." Yeah, he's definitely upstairs. One of the good ones. Highly ironic, given the demonic skull that has been Reaper's, logo forever. So I'm trying to put a little bit more yellow in here. If you don't put enough yellow in your gold, you're going to end up more with a bronzy color, which isn't a deal breaker or a bad thing. Just, is what it is. So I have a bunch of stuff that's supposed to show up this week that I'm kind of crossing fingers, or that isn't supposed to show up this week, and I'm hoping that it's going to anyway. Like my box of books to bring to the con for the new book. They're like September 2nd, and I'm like, I'm hoping it's going to be faster than that. The element is going to be packed full between the dog stuff and the everything. Aw. Oh, he loved Terrain Tuesdays? That's awesome. Does SSC like hiss at Luca or turn his back upon Luca in disdain? Maybe he knows Luca's a dog person. So just a little bit of alternating here and trying to pick up the little details. We're still losing a bit of that cream, but I'm going to pop that with white. Scared by... Oh, right, I remember that now. Scared by Luca's laugh. Well, yes, I was going to say. Most of us are scared when Luca's amused. Putting some pure white in here to make those sections come out now, especially with the dark line around them. I'll leave a lot of cream in the shadows down below, but up with these little cutouts, you've got no room. You have to decide what you want to do and how much contrast you want. So for the little cutouts, I'll definitely pop them up to white usually to make them show up against the gold and make them distinct. Gotta reline here because I wiped out my line. I'm glad that Luca, after he went home, was like, moving to Spain is the best thing I ever did. Like, sometimes it takes that, right? Sometimes you have to go back and, like, really, really see where you came from after you've left and, like, go, oh, actually, this is a great idea. Go me. Because it's easy to be nostalgic until you go back and see all the things that you got away from, and then you're like, oh, yeah. Speaking of which, speaking of going back home, I'm so jealous of my parents right now because they are getting ready. They actually leave on Thursday, but they're going on a cruise that starts in Amsterdam and then goes up and all around Iceland. And I'm like, I would like to be on that cruise. I would like to see Iceland. And we were going to go to Amsterdam for World Expo, and then everything got all weird. We ended up not going. Yeah. Yeah, Mom said she'd send pictures. I'm still jelly. That's okay. We'll get them to come and puppy sit the Keekster when David and I want to go to Monte San Sabino next year. They can hang out in our house and deal with the Cerberus dingo. So when you guys start reading the book, I really I love your opinions once you have gotten it. doing a little bit of pure white, real thin, just to bring in all those little folds. It's still cream, but it's got that pure white highlight then to bring it up. Makes the skin look darker and more rosy. That's a side effect. So when you've got like white up there, even if you bring your skin up to white, which I haven't quite yet, the fact that the skin is still a bit darker than the cloth means that the skin will look much darker with the contrast. Alrighty, let's see here, more gold, more gold. And I may want to glaze this just to make it more intensely yellow. Oh, there's a kiki fur, a kinky kiki fur. See it? It's in my water, or in my paint. Kiki has invaded. Even though I barred her, her fur is still coming through. There we go. A bit more light. Yeah, the problem is these are such small sections that it's just really hard to make the color come through. Whereas this bigger part here will be easier. So I'm taking my mid here and bringing in a lot of yellow down lower. She'll be part of book 4, South of the Stars. She gets her subplot. I really like her too. To remember to be up closer. I'm letting my hands sag here. Special fur tweezers. But yeah, she'll be in South of the Stars with Ash. That's Ash's book. Kimberly's a good character because she like has a sense of like the good parts of like troll society, like though she mostly bitches to Sadis a lot, but but she does understand like that it's, you know, there's good and bad and everything. So yeah, that'll be an interesting book to write. That's I realized I have 2 prequels in my future too. Because originally I knew there was going to be a prequel to book 4 because it was like the prequel to book 4 is actually the short story / novella that started this whole world in my head. So I know I'm going to be writing that. I've known I was going to be writing that since I started East of the Sun. But I realize now that there also needs to be a prequel to book 3, or there doesn't need to be, but it would be fun if there was a prequel to book 3.
to tie up certain loose ends with Sola, if I wanted to. That's the thing with this series, is like, it could just be 6 books, or I could really try to tie up every single, like, interesting idea, loose end, that has sprung up from the first 2 books. Yeah, cruises can be cool. Most of them are a lot less fancy and a lot more commercial nowadays, which doesn't appeal to me, but you can still find nice ones. I'm sure the one that my dad booked is probably one of the nicer ones. I remember when cruises were very, very fancy indeed. That was when I first went. My parents took us on our first cruise. So we want the highlight at the top, we want the shadow, we want to bring it back up toward the bottom. And then we've got those little cutouts that we need to deal with. Originally, are you ready, Turchin? Originally, I guessed 20 books when I originally mapped it out. But since then, I've realized that that's the nice thing when you have experience as a writer. You look at your ideas and you're like, you know what? I could take care of both that one and that one in one book, right? So then it shrunk down again after I had that 20 book, like, number land on me. And now I don't know what it's at. I actually dragged out my doc the other day because I do keep a document that kind of talks about the various stories that I need to resolve if I want to. You know, some of them are necessary for the overall plot line, and some of them are optional. Like when book 3. Now I can talk about book 3 now. Ooh, book 3 begins 10 years after the end of West of the Moon. So Tor is 20. And Edda is 11. And, stuff like that. I'm not going to tell anything else because some people... Zachary, far be it from me to encourage you to do it. It really, guys, I'll tell you, it depends on getting the word out about these books. It depends on how effectively I can do that. Because if I'm on book, 6, and nobody really likes it, which I don't think is going to happen. Like, in talking to one of the Clifton writer coaches on my strategic one, he's like, listen, if you write a really good story, that's if you write an awesome thing, people will find it. You just have to keep trying. That's what his thing is. It's like, and I kind of agree with that, but if it really, really just isn't going anywhere by book 6, I'm probably going to maybe put it on hiatus for a little bit and work on other things. It just depends. I'll honestly, for me, it's like, I want to get the story out there anyway, so eventually it will get done, but to at least the standard I want to do it to. But I will be very disheartened if it doesn't, get some traction, even if it's just a little traction, if it doesn't get out there at some point over the next few years. Like, I will assess the series in... What is this year? 2023, 24, 25. In 2026, I'll take a hard look at it. Yeah, the dwarves are cool. The gaming dwarves throwing dice, yeah. Yeah, well, you can't have the big one, but the little one comes in swag boxes. And if there are swag boxes left over in Neurotic, you might be able to nab one of those online. They usually do have swag boxes left over, but I don't know. Now, ReaperCon is, known enough now that I think there's probably a race for those swag boxes, especially if there aren't very many. So I'm just pretty much doing a gradient here from the dark. Had a little bit of light up top. I'm going to put a little more gold up there. Wooden wings on the Druid Sophie. That'd be cool. That'd be cool, Zachariah. You could even use, it's not the right scale, though. Maybe for the small one, you could use the Shipwreck Angel from, the pirate faction of Warlord. You know the one I'm talking about. The Maiden. The Dark Maiden. You could start with that and just work off of it. Oh, have fun. Have fun. Get your Amazon. Yes, but the normal sized one, you wouldn't be able to do those wings on the big one because the Dark Maiden is 28 mil. So, but if you had a normal sized one, you could do wooden wings, but just by using that as kind of an armature and adding some, it would be a lot easier than doing it from scratch. Just going to yellow this out just a little bit more up on top here. Ah. But yeah, on the books, I'm just looking forward. Like, it was such a relief to have this one out, and now to be able to work on a new story finally is super awesome. And I get to go into some of the... North of the Wind goes into some more about the origins of the Bear Kings, and it also goes into the wolves. It's heavy on wolf. Book 3 is heavy on wolf, guys. Closest I'm going to get to writing werewolf fan fiction. I can't really say that because it might not be true. Yeah, she's much bigger. You're right, Zachariah. Oh yeah, the gaming dwarves. I hope they do. I would love if those are. I would paint these on this show. We don't paint enough dwarves. Luca makes up for it though. Anyway. Oh, you just got it, huh? You've got the second book in your hot little hands. All right, Zachariah. Oh, Kuroniko. Just go at it with the airbrush, Kuroniko. Yeah, werewolves. I'm a werewolf girl. Luca loves painting dwarves. So we need to get him those gaming dwarves then. So yeah, so let's put a little bit more of a shadow right up in here. Excellent, Twisted Oma. Excellent. Yeah, my mom has just gotten resigned. Like, a while back she told my dad no more cruises because she gets seasick. But she seems to have loosened her stance on that, as long as it's like not like they took one that went around to hit Patagonia, way down in South America, and they had such a bad storm on the way back. And that was when Mom put her foot down. She's just like, no more cruises. And Dad's like, can we do a cruise if it's in really calm water? I could just see it. So she's relaxed her. It's like she takes seasickness meds, but it's still, when there's a really bad one, she was just miserable. She was just super miserable. But Dad loves them. Crowley, awesome. Yeah. Well, awesome. I look forward to you guys getting the book in your hands. The book. Then we gotta get reviews. I want 10 reviews. 10 reviews on West of the Moon. I'm hoping that my promo on East of the Sun, which the first one hits tomorrow, I'm hoping that will get us maybe up to 30 reviews eventually. Because usually those promos are pretty good for that. A lot of the people who sign up for promo sites to get book suggestions do tend to be the type of person to leave a review. So I'm hoping. Okay, we're up to 22 now on East of the Sun, so I was just pretty much raised my eyebrows the other day on my self-published Reddit, where somebody was saying, I don't even look at a book unless it's got 100 reviews. And I'm like, you're an indie author. Do your own books even have 100 reviews? You know, I'm just like kind of eyebrow like this dude. I'm like, or dudette. I'm not sure what it was, but I'm like, why would you do that? Like, there are really good books out there that have less than 100 reviews just because they were indie published. And you're in an indie published subreddit. Huh? I guess that person's just never going to look at my book, or at least won't be looking at my book for the next several years. Yeah. Yeah, the Patagonia. Yeah, I would still love to see Patagonia because it's just beautiful, but maybe sometime. You have a cloak, but it's wool. Oh my, the colors had noises. Yeah, you don't want to OD on the seasickness. Some of those drugs. The cure is worse than the malady at that point. I'm hoping I get my copy of West of the Moon soon so that I'll at least have that at the con to put on my little standee. The hey, I wrote a book standee. Alright, so just to use this edge of your brush, you can see how just using just the edge of my brush, and I have a bit of white on here, you can see the paleness in the bristles, but I did dip it into the ochre color before I came down to do this. Just a little. And if you clear enough off the edge of your brush, you can just drag it along the edges here and pick up those details. Okay, Quindy. Yeah. Accidentally. She's not that silly. Almost, but not quite that silly. Yeah. I usually, it depends, Age of Marvel. Like, if the book description is just really up my alley, yeah, I'm just gonna be like, I'll glance at the, like, how many stars does it have, but I won't read reviews. But if I'm on the fence, that's when I'll read the reviews to see, like, okay, this sounds alright, but, you know, or, if I don't read reviews, I'll hit the look inside so that I can see how well written it is. Is that an eagle or am I hallucinating? Oh no. Yeah, Mom uses the patches, I think. Twisted Oma. Nothing for Amazon for me today. Aww. Aww, Turgeon, don't worry. It'll come. Trying to get a bunch of stuff for the trip. Oh, I got my little my hands-free headset. It's just a little thing that goes around my ear and has a little mic. But the noise cancellation on it is supposed to be really good, so I'm super looking forward to brainstorming book 3, parts of book 3 on the drive. I'm gonna have so much time, and usually in the mornings my brain is really active before it gets like road, you know, like ennui. So looking forward to, I dug out half of my notes for the new book yesterday. The rest are on my phone because I do dictate on my walk sometimes. The cat's gonna escape and she has to refind us. Usually the sensible one. I see Kerniko. That's funny. Oh, weird, Richard. Maybe your internet is wonky. That's right, Kerniko does have a sword now. Yeah, very rough down there. Well, I won't take a boat then, I guess. But there's a lot of beautiful mountainous territory down in the south. It would be cool. I think Patagonia is where the only dog breed, I'd have to check my notes, the book that I have, but I think Patagonia is where the only dog breed that was ever bred to herd fish existed. It's extinct now. It's a breed that went extinct. But there used to be a fish herding dog breed, and my memory says that it was South American for sure, and I think it was Patagonian. And sailors that witnessed it were like, huh? Herd fish, yes. The dogs would herd the fish into the nets. Yes, I shit you not. It actually was a thing, Pendrake. I'll have to look up my complete book of dog breeds. There are essentially accounts of it from, I think, the late 1800s. It was the coolest dog breed that I found in that book. It was a book that's like a catalog of all the dog breeds in the world. And some of them are really, really like, just like on this one island, there is a breed of dog that is like X and does X. No, they're extinct just because, as technology, came around and stuff, they didn't need it. They didn't need the functionality anymore, and it was a very small breed, so I suspect it was both gene pool and the loss of needing the functionality. And, if you're down in Patagonia, you probably don't, understand that it's a cultural heritage thing or you don't care, at that time to preserve that sort of thing. Twitch do be twitchy. So I'm going to take my light yellow and see if I can just very gently, and again, I'm mostly just brushing my brush tip over the top of each of these little runes just to bring them out a little bit. With little tiny bits like this, you just want to put down that light yellow a little bit to get the color. You might have to go over them a bit with more of an ochre yellow to get them to look more yellow. The key here is so little paint on your brush, folks. So once we've got those illuminated, we can take our more ochre yellow if we want to bring in a little more yellow tone. But these are so tiny, you really aren't going to be able to. And in the end, you're probably just going to end up putting a couple of white highlights on them to bring out the shapes and be done. Right, yeah, like, there's some breeds that the functionality just went away, like, they didn't need it anymore, or it wasn't. I mean, there are still foxhounds, even though fox hunting has gone way down. Thank the Lord. And there are still otterhounds, but they just aren't used for that purpose anymore. But if you're in, like, a relatively not really modern nation, some things just... Well, and even sometimes in modern nations, some things just go the way of the dodo. And by way of the dodo, I don't mean being resurrected by genetic cloning, hundreds of years later or whatever. Didn't they resurrect a dodo? Like, I thought they actually were doing that. I don't remember. Something stuck in my... Ah, okay. Cool, Zachariah. Yes, yes. Well, you know my attitude toward foxes, so... And you've read the book, so... Interesting. Patagonian Welsh. Is that just because a lot of ships wrecked there that had Welsh sailors on them? So we're just doing with this little stuff, guys, it's not about getting it like really realistic or, doing that. It's entirely about getting the effect you want. Richard has taught us something about Welsh people in Patagonia today. Alrighty, so we've got that part of the belt set up. You can see how nice and shiny that looks and glittery. Fox is gonna fox. Yep, Ren would approve of you, Kerniko. Sadly, I cannot actually use the phrase "fox is gonna fox" in my book. It would be considered too modern. I'm over looking for vowels. Alright, so we're getting that. I'm going to leave it a little bit dark up here where the shadow, you can see where the shadow falls on the leather as well, so I'm going to keep that darker gold. They felt Welsh wasn't Welsh enough anymore. Oh, Lord. Hey there, Luca. Yeah, that's funny. I mean, I guess it works. It works for a while, and then, you know, when Patagonia, like, really starts, there's always a chance that you don't get to preserve it after all. But, yeah, interesting. I'm going to highlight down here. Just using the side of my brush. Real lightweight. Very little paint on the brush. Very thin paint. James Michener. Is James Michener still around? Like, or is he like, I don't know, like, he was writing books when I was a kid, so I always wonder if those people are still around. Although some of them are, and they're just, like, co-writing books with a younger author. Like Clive Cussler started doing. So we'll take the side of our brush and we'll just start very gently bringing up those little runes. Oh. I mean, I didn't read him. They made us watch Centennial, the TV miniseries, in history class when I was in grade school. It was much better as a TV series than it was as a book. It's just, his stuff is just too sprawling for me. It's interesting. But my problem is that once I have a character I like, I want to stick to that character. And so his books didn't really appeal to me because they were multi-generational. It's a rare multi-generational book that appeals to me. Which is funny because I do have progression like that in my coming books, but the thing is that it's always changing, right? Because it's several hundred years that he's going through, so it's like all these generations. Yeah. Mini is prominent browns. Like this mini's browns stand out a lot. Why would they? Like, browns don't necessarily implicitly make something look blocky. I mean, if they're very, very, if they're very orangey browns, they are going to pop out a bit. Gurm doesn't kill off characters out of spite. Gurm kills off characters because he has too many of the dang things, and he realizes that he's going to have 12 more books to write if he doesn't kill off characters. Does he take a perverse pleasure in the screams of his readers? Yes. Yes, he does. But I've said this before, but Gurm is just a dark, like, kind of like Stephen King but like Stephen King, like, in an epic fantasy kind of way. Like, he just tends to be, he's got a darker psyche. He likes unhappy endings. Although a couple of his characters got happy endings, so. Or will. Unless he decides to do the, rocks fall, everybody dies ending. Who knows? Oh no, he's still writing, Richard. He wants his version of the story out there. Because the thing is that although they worked off of his notes, quite a bit was changed in translation to TV. And my understanding was that he was keen to get his version of things out there. But he's also a really slow writer. Really, really slow. You're not allowed happy endings anymore. Miniature stand. There we go. There's the Luca we know and kind of love. Yeah, his books were kind of chory at times, Twistoma. The +4 Horn of Dragon control. Funny. Alright, so let's do this little face down here while we're getting ready for Luca to take over Reaper for his customary invasion of our channel. And Anne has to go walk the puppy and work on Patreon stuff all day and try to ignore her writer dashboard. So I'm going to use my liner to put in a little bit of definition around the tiny details. Yes, Hot Reaper Dwarf Hour. Exactly. That's Luca's show. We noticed there were more dwarves coming for ReaperCon, Luca. I'm sure you'll receive all of them. Oh no, Blorf wiped out the lower part of the eyeball. Sometimes it just takes patience and you have to go a lot slower when you're doing this little stuff. Pretty happy with the progress we've made today on her though. So all the forehead's probably going to be light, real light. We'll pop this in here, that, get the eyeballs. Now we're going to do a little bit of yellow. And I just want all my work to be done so that I can just prepare for this epic road trip. The epic ReaperCon road trip. I'm going to keep telling myself it's going to be fun. Luca's never innocent. Yes. I don't think you even asked that question, Richard. Like, you know better. You know better. Put a little bit of white highlight right up on the brow. Oh no, I wiped out an eyeball. Eek! I keep wiping out that eyeball. That eyeball does not want to be painted. It's like, nope. Nope. We'll just have to work on this guy next time along with the rest of the gold. There we go. Quindy with the link. There we go. Put the eyeball back in. But we've lost a lot of our mid. Oh man, you guys. Well, that's an Australian slang term I wasn't familiar with, Richard. Thank you. Now we know. A little bit more yellow in there. There we are. Much better. I can still tell it's a face. All right. So you can see how everything starts to pull together now. We're putting in the gold and we can really see it, which is really nice. It'll be cool to get this part down as well in the back of the book cover. Yawn. Oh man, sorry, yawn attack. I feel like I've been working so hard, like I've been not getting really any time off any day. I've been working like very long days, guys. I feel like I need a day just to detox, so I'm trying to get Patreon stuff done today so that I can actually like take Thursday as a fall over day and then pack Friday and Saturday for the epic road trip of doom, of Kiki Doom. Alrighty. Yep, I'm gonna pass it over to Luca. I'll have to make up the time. Maybe we'll stream late tomorrow. Yes, all the places you can find me. And I updated my website with the new book. There's no rest yet, Miniatures Den. There's no rest. There's just like trying to get all my Patreon stuff done and then packing for a 12-day road trip. I'll get to sleep eventually. You take care too, Luca. All right, yay, book review, Richard, yay! Thank you, everybody. All right, I will talk to you all. Oh, what are we painting tomorrow? What are we painting? Oh, hey, it's Witchy Day. It's Witchy Day. It's Lavender Witch. It's Lavender Witch Day. Lavender Witch Day, and I have to start, I think I'm going to start working up that lavender, figure out what, I did discover, I know what I'm going to use as the basis for that white that I want to do. It's going to be desert sand, I think. So we'll play with that and keep working on it on the Icy Violet and figure out what her other colors are going to be like. Probably go with, I don't know, might go with black for the boots, black with the belts. Thinking about it, because the cat's going to be black. But anyway, we'll figure that out tomorrow. So tomorrow is Halloween Day, and I hope to see you all here. What, the witch? She's available. I could order her. I ordered her. I assume she was last year's Halloween figure. I ordered her online, and she's sidecast. So yeah, go look for her. First review is up. Yes! My book has a review! Thank you, Turgeon. Thank you. Finger hurts, finger hurts, finger hurts. We need to get those 10 reviews. And number 1 is the biggest one. Now the floodgates will open. Not really. All right, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Yes, I'll try to get some sleep. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.